Hey, this is Arsena from Rambling Regan. Sorry for the frog in my throat, and camera's probably crooked. I don't know. It has been so long, I don't even know how to do these things anymore. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick video on traveling. I have been asked many times and quite recently about traveling, specifically to Japan. I've been there a couple of times. For those that are new, I actually have vlogs of when I did that. I think 2015 and 2016. It has been a while. So anyway, a couple of my friends are actually going traveling. One of them is going to Japan, and so I was just thinking, let me impart at least some wisdom. There are, I think, let me see what I wrote down. 7 things that I wish I knew before I went to Japan. Now there's a bunch of these lists and every single one of them are amazing. I'm just doing this from my perspective and the stuff that I ran into. And your mileage may vary, especially if you're coming from different parts of the country. Like if you're coming East Coast, West Coast, whatever. Either way, number 1, it's a long travel day. And not just from your current destination to where you're going to Japan. Remember that you're traveling and that takes some time. Everything from going from one country to another to going from one hotel, hostel, or Airbnb to another. You will lose a significant amount of time traveling. So y'all that like to pack things very tightly, that's not such a good idea. So if you're planning to travel to Japan or any country, because this actually fits in the same way, take some time to actually research how much time it's going to take to get from point A to point B. And for those that want to travel, oh my god, I want to go here, I want to go over, it's like, yeah, remember that each of those days is a lost day because you have to check out of your hotel, hostel, Airbnb, whatever, travel to wherever the next destination is, and then check in and go through that process. That's basically the whole day. And I did that on my first trip. Now, granted, it was an amazing experience and where I stayed was awesome and I would recommend it. That's in Odaiba, that's in Tokyo Harbor. Gorgeous place. But where I was going was way over in the other direction. So got from the airport exhausted, took a bus into the city. That's its own video. I should probably just do it on that. Then stayed there for I think a night and a half, and then traveled to the next destination, stayed there for 2 nights, went back to the old destination, and then back on an airplane. I lost so much time traveling, it was crazy. Second time around, I decided to do something a little bit different and ended up shaving a lot of time on traveling because you want to take as much time as possible to enjoy the surroundings and go to where it was that you're planning to go in the first place, as opposed to wasting time carrying your luggage everywhere and traveling through. Make note, you're going to walk a lot. Dress comfortably. From the East Coast to Japan was like 24, 26 hours. Yeah, that was not fun. So yes, pack light. For those that are traveling and using a taxi, first of all, don't. Unless you really need to, like what ended up happening with me, we're out on the sticks and I'm going from one place to another at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You're kind of stuck with taxis, but they are expensive. But more importantly, know your address. And I mean specifically have it written down. If you're staying someplace that actually has their business card, please take it. Your taxi driver will love you. Because for the most part, addresses in Japan are crazy. They have, now I'm used to the United States, specifically in urban environments where the streets are set up in grids and you go 100 block, 200 block, 300, no. Japan has a whole different thing. There's an entire set of videos that are explaining how they have addresses based on when they were built. So if a house was broken down and they put a new one, that's a new address. So trying to tell your taxi driver if you know Japanese, then God bless you. But if you don't, just carry the card. It's a whole lot easier, especially those that have like a map. They can just put that in the GPS. Oh, they'll love you. Absolutely love you. Number 3, you're gonna be carrying a lot of cash, and I know from my experience, when I booked hotels and whatever, I was able to use my card and use that online. But once you're in Japan, everything's cash, and weirdly so. Now, where I am in the US, we use cards for literally everything. I think I maybe carry 20 bucks if I'm lucky. I don't even use it, so I just carry it around with me the whole time. No, you're gonna be carrying a lot of cash. Japan is very much a cash society, and I didn't realize that until I was there. And then realized, oh, they use a lot, and they use a lot of coins too. So there's probably an entire video on just, you know, Passmo cards and all this extra stuff. Because I wasn't traveling too much, I ended up just paying for, you know, subways and stuff like that. They use a lot of coins, and I didn't realize how much it was until I had an entire bag of coins and realizing they were all dollar bills. So yes, pay attention to that. Number 4, no tipping. Now, you've probably seen this before, but I'm gonna add to that. When you go to restaurants, again, I'm used to Americans where you sit down and your server's over here and how can I help you? And I was like, that doesn't exist in Japan, and that threw me for a loop. I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but basically you're handed a menu and then you kind of decide what you want, and then you get their attention, put in your order, and that's like the last time you see of them. So it's a little weird how that works out, and I guess it's kind of good because you're not constantly being hounded by the waiter or waitress trying to work on their commission. But at the same time, it could be a little disconcerting, especially if you're like expecting that certain things are supposed to work that way. Just kind of go with the flow. Remember that what the bill is exactly the bill, and it will take it down to the last penny. Well, yen in this case. But yeah. Number 6 is close to the whole taxi thing, but more importantly, research where it is that you're going to be staying. So let's just say you want to go to the Ghibli Museum. Find some place that's close there and kind of stay around that, or at least find a central location, because again, you're going to be losing a lot of time traveling. As a quick reminder, you're the only one that's on vacation. No one else is. Specifically if you're going into Tokyo or like Osaka, you know, very busy places, everybody's just trying to work. So when it starts getting around rush hour and then you're trying to figure out why there's so many people that just came out of buildings out of nothing, which happened to me twice. Yeah, so if you know where you're going, at least have a general understanding of, you know, if there's public transportation that's close. If there is a taxi, make sure that it's short distance, because you don't want to be spending $30, $40 like going one way. It just did that. If it's necessary, that's the only way, then yes. But if you can cut down on just bleeding money on just public transportation. So even if you're working on like the J-rail passes, that's for like long distances. I don't think that actually covers like buses and the subway system. Just be careful that you're not wasting almost all of your entire trip just traveling everywhere. So try to find a nice hub to stay from, and then learn your surroundings from there. If you want to travel to different places, then go move to another hub and then go around there, because otherwise, remember, Japan may be a whole bunch of little islands or whatever. That's a lot of walking if you're not going to be using a lot of public transportation. So just FYI, you're not there for a long period of time. It goes very fast. And number 7, at least I researched this before I left both times, and oh my god, it was a godsend. Everyone here in the US is so used to free Wi-Fi. That doesn't exist. It just does not exist. The idea of just picking up your phone and just connecting to local Wi-Fi. No, there is no local Wi-Fi. There is, but you need a password, in which case you have to pay for it or go to wherever. Yeah. So for the most part, most people buy SIM cards, or what I did is actually rent a pocket Wi-Fi, which can string up to anywhere between 7 to 10 devices. And that's what we did. That lasts about 10-12 hours, and you can charge it up with USB. It's a godsend. And then so you don't have to worry about, especially if you're traveling over distances, you're always going to have Wi-Fi. Not everywhere is connected, and especially if you're relying on like Google Maps and stuff like that, trying to figure out where the heck you're going, you're gonna need some sort of Wi-Fi to connect to a local network. And for the majority of the time, it is not free in Japan. So just an FYI. So just keep that in the back of your mind. They're usually, if it's for like a week or so, I paid like $50. The best $50 I've ever paid, I guarantee you. You're gonna be able to go, oh yeah! Especially when trying to connect with people and it's rush hour and you're lost, and yeah, that's gonna happen. In the description I put a couple of links on hopefully that can help you out. I put one for booking.com, which I used all the time. Some people use Expedia, Travelocity, you know, that sort of thing. I use Booking and I get like 10% off everything, and they've been great and I love them, and so yay. And I think if you sign up using the link, you get like $25, which is good because anything to keep the cost down, to be able to make that vacation actually work. And it doesn't matter, it's in your account. You can use it for any place, not necessarily just Japan. So if you have any tips or tricks on traveling, feel free to put it in the comments. I know I've missed out a lot, and if anybody's actually interested in me expanding on any of these or answer any other questions on traveling, feel free to let me know. I'll put it in another video. I like these things, and I don't normally, never thought that I was actually gonna use it, and all of a sudden I just kept getting a lot of questions because, you know, trips of a lifetime, you don't want to screw it up and you want to have a positive experience. So any way that you can just kind of streamline things, that's what I want to be able to impart, because the difference between the first trip and the second trip was marked. It was like, oh, I don't have to waste, you know, half a day traveling here to here to here to here, and then by the time I figured it out, I only had like 3 days to really do anything, and all of that was tightly packed. Just give yourself time to just enjoy the place that you're going to be traveling to. So yes, just a little bit of research before that and you're good. Anyway, until the next video, whenever that is, I'll see you then. Take care. Okay, this is still really weird to do. Hi. This has been a while, and yes, that's somebody mowing the lawn. How do you like my Watanuki? Let me show it to you. Look at him. He's my precious. Jeez, I love to see so long. I totally forgot to put it in widescreen like an idiot. Is that crooked? Yeah. No. God.